Welcome to Aaron's room, where we don't even know who Aaron is yet. In this video, I hope to introduce myself as Aaron and explain how Nintendo 64 gaming days leads to working on helicopters, leads to making little YouTube videos like this that 116 people subscribe to. But before we get on into this, if I could just ask you to like the video. It doesn't take too much of your time and it lets YouTube know that you like this video, and I appreciate it. First, let's go over my gaming system journey, I suppose. It's the easiest way to do it. I first started with the Nintendo 64, of course, with Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, Xbox One, and then PC gaming. So just a couple of my favorite games from these systems here. Nintendo 64, I loved Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, of course, but I also did live in the time when we could rent from a local rental shop here, could rent out Nintendo 64 cartridges. So that's where I first played Super Smash Brothers. Me and my brother loved to play that. That's probably my favorite game, but I never owned it. So PlayStation 1, that is where I will say, my favorite game series I started. If you see right here, I've got it right here on my arm, the Spyro idle animation. Spyro 1, 2, and 3 were all on the PlayStation 1, I believe. And then that's where I got my start there. Love that game series, but in a second here, I'm gonna show you my second favorites, which are really close. So PlayStation 2 is actually where the next one comes in. The Jak and Daxter series is probably my second favorite series of games, right behind Spyro. So Jak and Daxter, Jak 2, and Jak 3. Never played any of the other offshoot games. I know there are other ones. Xbox 360 actually came after the PlayStation 2 for me. Gears of War, Assassin's Creed, Madden 06, which you had to basically be this huge Jak dude. There was no other way to do it. Gears of War series is probably my third favorite series at this point. I have a confession on that front, is that I've never finished Gears of War 3. I finished 1 and 2 many times, but I've never finished 3, and I think I've finished 4, but any of the other ones I haven't played either, so I have been slacking. And if you want a video on those or gameplay of me playing through those, go ahead and leave it in the comments below, or you can just flame me for not playing Gears of War 3 all the way through. I know what happens, don't worry. All right, and then what's next? PlayStation 3 I had for like a year, but I bought it from a friend for like $50, so I never had a game for it. I was big into the multiplayer on Xbox 360 with Call of Duty and everything, so never really did anything with that. Xbox One, played a lot of World of Tanks and played a lot of Overwatch for a while there. Kind of got old, but you know, see how that turned out. And then PC gaming. Yeah, so now I can play any game I want to, download it to the computer. Okay, any game is very broad, but yeah, that is my gaming journey. But let's go do a little bit of my personal journey of what led me to wanting to do this, YouTube, really. I guess first off, I will say I'm a father, I'm a husband, IT guy, a little bit of a gamer, and then also I'm a veteran, and a little bit of the story about how that happened. If you'll see right here, got a little Apache, and that's what I worked on. So after a year and a half of college, I decided, hey, maybe I can't get a job working in music, because music's really hard. Get on there. Music is really hard to get a job in. At least at that time, it was kind of before most of like the online like social media kind of presence. Facebook was just kind of getting going. Like, I don't know, whatever. I was very trepidatious about trying to get a job. I don't even know if that's a word, but I just used it, so you can steal it if you want to. But yeah, so I transferred to a different electrical engineering technology, and I didn't really like that a ton, and it was mostly work for something in a field that I wasn't really, I didn't realize that was what it was. So then I'm like, what do I do with my life? kind of retrospective. And then I was like, hey, I want to be a pilot. My eye's not good. Crap, I wear glasses, whatever. In the Army, you don't have to have 20/20 perfect vision. To fly helicopters, you don't need that. So then I went in the Army and started as a mechanic for the Apache, with the ultimate goal of making it to be a pilot. So that's how I got in. 4.5 years later, things didn't fully work out that way. I was out of the Army and working kind of odd jobs. Ended up in IT support. Kind of dig the computer thing, you know. Still doing help desk stuff at that point. And then, yeah, I was like, but what?
Hi, Future Aaron here. I realized I totally forgot to even mention how I ended up doing YouTube. So let me explain a little bit of that now. Getting into YouTube, this is my third attempt, I believe. There was a couple other channels that I tried and then just kind of got too busy, didn't really go forward with. But it was actually the game Helldivers 2 that got me wanting to do YouTube because of all the clips I was seeing on like TikTok and all that. I was like, I can do that. But then I also had the idea of making those clips kind of like the story mode in Star Wars Battlefront 2, if you've played the story mode of the 501st, like the journal entry kind of thing. So if you look earlier on my channel, there's a couple that I kind of tried to do something like that and then, you know, kind of failed. But that's where this channel started. And then I met my friend Joda. I'll put him right here. Go subscribe to him. He's really close to 3,000 subscribers. But I found him and we just kind of been collaborating on ideas and things, and I found kind of a love for the process of making videos. And working from home, I have a little bit of time to do the editing in between calls and everything, so that's kind of how it happens. But yeah, I'm just gonna kind of stick this here in the middle somewhere, and then we go right back to the video.
Let me see if I can tie this all together somehow. So working on these big, you know, the actual helicopters wasn't really my jam. You know, I wanted to be the pilot of them. And like I said, that didn't really work out, but I still think that they are very, very cool. And I know their intended purpose, obviously. But that's why I have these models, I have all these historical books, and which leads me to my next point of what I want to do on this channel going forward, if everybody is okay with it. What I want to do going forward is to add more of these talking head style videos, either talking about gaming, which is always, it's always going to be on the channel. It's more of a gaming channel than anything. Getting the footage is always fun. Or talking about military history, like based on the books that I'm reading, or certain battles, or anything that you guys want to talk about. We could talk about Warhammer lore videos in a setting like this, more of like a conversation, and I share some neat things with you, kind of get you guys into Warhammer a little bit. I know Space Marine 2 just came out, so a lot more people are into Warhammer now, so trying to dig into that audience a little bit, get you over here into Aaron's room. We'll talk about all kinds of stuff. Like I said, military history, real battles. I have taken a big interest in World War I. I know it's the meme of when you hit a certain age, you pick a certain path. Instead of World War II, I chose World War I, and I'm still digging into that. I've got a book over there, The World Undone, which is a monster of a book, but it goes through the whole story. So we can talk about anything, honestly. That's what I'm getting at here. I can just ramble on for however long. But or we could do models, like in live streams, because I've got a Spitfire right here. I've got some battleships over there that can be built. We've got some Warhammer models that can be painted, all in live stream or a regular video or anything else like that. I do just want to branch out specifically from just gaming, but I'm still going to be doing gaming, like the retrospectives that you've seen, some of the story stuff, and maybe some reviews stuff. I want to keep doing that, but I also want to do some other things, and I just want your guys' input. You know, would you be okay with that, or is it something that interests you, or it's just like a hard pass from me kind of thing? But with that, I just want to thank you guys all again for 116 subscribers. That is way more than I ever thought would be on this channel. And if you're new, stick around. We are, like I mentioned, we are going to try a lot of new things. And if this is your vibe, go ahead and subscribe down below. Things are about to get weird, but it's going to be a lot of fun. See you next time.